The Vauxhall Carlton is the brochure of the day. Hello and welcome back. Now, if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at various different car brochures from around the world. Well, recently we've been looking at Vauxhall Opel in 1983 and this all-range brochure. Currently up to Vauxhall Carlton, so if you haven't missed any of the previous episodes, I'll certainly do a link at the end of the show, but let's get straight on with it. Let's have a look at the Vauxhall Carlton. So here she is, the new Vauxhall Carlton. I always refer to these as a Mark 1 facelift. Now, the only thing about this facelifted model, it kind of like became exactly the same as an Opel Record when Vauxhall and Opel came together. So we kind of like lost that lovely droop snoot on the original Mark 1, which made it look so much different from the Opel Record. Now, essentially it's the same thing apart from badging, which is sad in some ways, but I still like the overall look of the Vauxhall Carlton at this stage. This is going to be the GL version, and I think the main problem with the Carlton range at this time was the range was really quite pitiful if you compare it to a Granada. All that we've got is this top of the range GL, and then we've got a base model, and then we've got the Estate, which if you compared that to a Granada at the same sort of time was really no competition really if you wanted a specific level of trim. Now of course we do have the Senator, which we'll look at next week, but still, even if you include the Senator with the Carlton, still a ridiculously low amount of trim levels if you compare it with Ford. Having said all that, very soon after this brochure we do get the CD model, the top of the range, and then we've got a GL and an L. So they did obviously see that that was a certain limitation and started extending the range. Anyway, let's move to the first model. So in this particular brochure, as people who've been following this brochure so far will have noticed, it goes the opposite way. So we look at the top of the range first, and then we turn the page and we get to the lower model. So like I say, essentially at this time the Carlton GL was the top of the range Carlton. So I certainly think adding that CD later on certainly was a good thing. Now this was available as either an 1800 or a 2 litre, and then you could get the Estate version as an 1800 and a 2 litre version as well, and we'll certainly later on there is a section for the Estates. So we'll read the text first and then we'll have a look around these lovely images. So it tells us refined luxury and performance is expressed in every aspect of the Carlton GL, and this car delivers the promise. New 1800 engine for performance with super economy. Worth thinking about if yours is a business car and you want to retain your big car motoring style at an advantageous tax benefit level, or you want to put the 2 litre engine through its paces if you place a priority on big power and still be pleased by the MPG figures. Both engines are coupled to a new economy orientated 5-speed gearbox with GM auto transmission optional at extra cost. You'll appreciate some of the other standard features too, such as power steering, bronze tinted glass, headlamp wash wipe, central door locking and deep body side protection mouldings. The interior treatment and finish confirm the Carlton GL status amongst the limited number of executive style cars, and most of the 17 exterior colours are complemented by a choice of interior trim colour. No doubt Vauxhall did have a nice colour range, and we'll have a look at it at the end of the episode. So we'll look at the standard features though, and certainly the standard features are high for something that's badged GL. So We've got Venezia velour trim, height adjustable driver seat, tiltable 4-spoke steering wheel, full instrumentation including rev counter, oil pressure gauge and voltmeter, headlamps on warning buzzer, push button mono radio stereo cassette player with 4 speakers, rear passenger compartment heating, power steering, 5-speed gearbox, central door locking, bronze tinted glass all round, laminated windscreen, screen shade band with graduated blue tinting, electrically operated and heated door mirrors, headlamp wash wipe, and remote electronic or electric boot release on the saloon. So here she is from the rear. So yep, Carlton GL, you can just about see how it's badged there. This particular model has rather unusually got on the optional alloy wheels though, so they're a little bit unusual to see on this model, but I actually quite like them. They're quite unusual, aren't they, for alloy wheels. Just moving on, I think this Helios blue actually looks really good on this this particular model. We can just see the GL badging on the side there as well. So these look like your electrically operated door mirrors, but I think inside this lovely blue velour seats, which actually look really good and actually look really comfortable. I do like the seats in these Vauxhalls, I must admit. Other colours available, and if we look at the door cards, the sort of trim is matched on the door cards. And then a little image here showing you what the wheel trims would look like if you didn't option those rather lovely alloys. And then we turn the page and we get the base model, not even the L. So really just highlight at this time what a strange small level of trims for the Carlton. I kind of think at this time the Carlton was almost like a bit of a forgotten car. It wasn't really, well, I mean, it was competing with the Granada, but really when you compare, it was almost forgotten. Shown at the bottom towing a caravan. I always think Vauxhalls at this time, you always see them driving caravans. Maybe this was the diesel version. The base model did get a wider choice of engines, so as the saloon, an 1800, a 2 litre, now joined by a 2.3 litre diesel, and the same choices for the estates as well. This particular colour, very common to see them in this colour actually. I can almost visualise them in this colour. But we'll look at the text and then we'll come back to the images. So text wise, it tells us the car that's simply badged Carlton epitomises GM's high technology and refinement coupled to outstanding value. Take a walk around our estate, for instance, and like on the saloon, you'll find a lustrous paint finish, taking off such features as bronze tinted glass, laminated front screen and graduated blue tinting on the shade band. Remote controlled door mirrors, deep body side protection mouldings and a locking fuel cap. Full luxury, it tells us. Step inside through the big wide opening doors. The luxury and comfort are immediate. Attractive herringbone tweed cloth for seating and door panel inserts complements the colour keyed carpet and interior fittings. The fully reclining front seats have cloth trimmed head restraints. Driver's seat is height adjustable and both front doors have continental style front armrests. Full instrumentation includes a rev counter, voltmeter and oil pressure gauge on petrol engine models. Our diesel model, a quartz activated clock, matches the large speedometer. Standard features include herringbone tweed trim, height adjustable driver seat, cloth door trim panels, full instrumentation including rev counter, voltmeter and oil pressure gauge for the petrol engines, headlamp on warning buzzer, push button mono radio stereo cassette player with 4 speakers, rear passenger compartment heating, power steering, 5-speed gearbox, petrol engines, bronze tinted glass all round, laminated windscreen, screen shade band with graduated blue tinting, remote control door mirrors, electric boot release for the saloon. So once again, for a base model, it's actually quite well spec'd if you compare it to like a base model Granada, but still, obviously there's lots of holes in the trim levels if we compare the two. So here is your base model. Apart from those steel wheels with just sort of centre caps, you won't really think of it too much as a base model in some ways. China blue is the colour, by the way. Like I say, a very popular choice at the time. This is also going to be your petrol engine version, which we'll notice when we look at the dash because it's got a rev counter on it. It also tells us this little sort of cassette area up here. Apparently that's a dealer fit option. Strange sort of interior, very boxy. Somehow I quite like it though. Look on the inside, and this is now tweed seats, but it's in blue, and again other colour options are available, but quite nice to have a blue car with blue seats. I don't know, I quite like that, but I quite like the GM idea of putting these colourful interiors. A look at those steel wheels, that little centre cap in the centre there. Looks like we may have a bit of a sort of beauty ring going on there though, interestingly. And there we are, towing a caravan. And then we get the rather lovely wagon or estate, another of those very practical big estate cars that seem to have all been forgotten. Again, like we saw earlier, available as the base model as an 1800 2 litre or 2.3 diesel, or in the higher spec GL trim as an 1800 or a 2 litre. Let's have a look at the text. It tells us the 5-door Carlton estate is not only smart, comfortable and luxurious, it's also a versatile rugged workhorse with an enormous capacity to carry big and heavy loads. The tailgate is one of the biggest in its class thanks to slender vertical stacked lamp clusters. There's virtually no wasted space inside. The fuel tank and spare wheel are underneath, the low carpeted deck, and there's very little intrusion from the wheel arches. The maximum deck width is 52.2 inches with the rear seat in place. The platform is a generous 45.2 inches long, big enough to carry a mountain of luggage for 5 people. With a payload weight limit of at least 12.5 cwt, there's little chance of overloading the Carlton estate. Folding forward, the back rest of the rear seat extends the deck length to a colossal 77.2 inches. Despite their capacious nature, Carlton Estate offers the same sumptuous trim and practical features as their saloon counterparts. Useful equipment abounds, include gas-filled tailgate assist struts, load compartment light and intermittent rear window wash wipe. A manual levelling device which helps to ensure a constant ride height no matter what the load is standard on the GL estate and optional on all other models. And for additional ease, electrically operated levelling can be specified as an option on the GL models. Tiny picture giving us an idea what the rear looks like. And the main image, the car itself, all the car features are the GL version, the highest spec model. This particular colour is anthracite. And we can just about make out the headlamp wipers and rather unusual and interesting sort of steel wheels on the estate version. A couple of little rear shots there, one showing the rear wiper of course, and then it also gives us an idea how it is badged. And then we get another little image of that wiper in action and how much space is in the back. Like the Granadas at this time though, it wasn't a split folding rear seat, it was just the whole thing that flopped down. And we'll end with just some images on the saloon there, showing a different coloured interior. Again, that sort of cassette area, dealer fitted option. I don't know, I quite like it. This is going to be the GL version. I quite like the interior somehow. And then a peep into a gold example with a beige interior. Certainly one of the things I liked with GM at this time was sort of how you could match the interior with the outside. Lots of colour choice actually for the interior colours. This is also showing rear seat belts, which of course would have been an optional extra. So we'll take the time to at least look at the specs for the engine. So the 1800 was a 1796cc 4-cylinder engine, 90 PS, din at 5400 RPM, torque max 105.5 pound-foot at 3000 RPM. 1800 features: viscous drive fan, alloy cross-floor cylinder head, hydraulic tappets, Varijet 2 carburetor, automatic choke, transistorized brakeless ignition. The 2 litre was a 1979cc 4-cylinder engine, 100 PS din at 5200 RPM, torque max 115 pound-foot at 3800 RPM. 2000 features: viscous drive fan, hydraulic tappets, Varijet 2 carburetor, automatic choke, transistorized brakeless ignition. And then finally the 2300D diesel 2260cc OHC 4-cylinder engine, power 65 PS din at 4200 RPM, torque max 93.7 pound-foot at 2500 RPM. 2300D features: viscous drive fan, automatic pre-glow system. So that then takes us to the colours, and actually a pretty nice range of colours for the Carlton. So let's take a look at that. So let's start with the solid colours first, which you wouldn't have had to pay any extra for. Starting with henna red, which could be had on the base model with a beige or grey interior, on the GL with a beige or black interior. Remember, the base model came with herringbone tweed, the higher spec model with velour, and we'll certainly look at those seat colours in a moment. Next colour available is the ever popular carmine red, grey interior for your base model, black interior for your GL. Of course, polar white, of course, for the base model. Blue, brown or grey was your interior choices. For your GL, blue, brown and black. The other colour you could get was parchment, so you could have a brown or a grey interior for the base model, a brown or a black interior in velour for your GL. Another colour that would really date your Carlton would have been mocha brown. Beige or brown interior for your base, beige or brown interior for your GL. The Carlton offered another shade of red, royal red this time. Beige or grey interior for your base model, beige or black interior for your GL. Reed green, a colour I don't remember too many Carltons being in, but I think it's a nice colour there. Reed green, grey interior for your base model, black interior for your GL. China blue was a colour that we saw in the brochure, very popular at the time for various different Vauxhalls actually. Base model came with a blue or a grey interior, GL came with a blue or a black interior, so nice to have that blue on the inside as well. We could also get a darker blue, Stratus blue, blue or grey interior for your base model, blue or black interior for your GL. Black was your other choice, and we said it before, at this time not many Vauxhalls came in black or is available in black, but you could get your Carlton in black, base model with a beige or a brown interior, and the same with the higher spec GL. And then moving on to your metallics, which of course would have been optional extra colours. So we get Astral Silver with a blue, a brown or a grey interior for your base. And then for your GL, a blue, brown or black interior in velour. Moving on to a colour of its time, white gold. Beige or brown interior for your base or GL. Onyx brown metallic, a brown or a beige interior on both of them. Carnelian red metallic, a brown or a grey interior for your base model, a brown or a black interior for your GL version. Opal green metallic, brown or grey interior for your base, brown or black for your GL. Anthracite metallic, grey or brown interior for your base model, black or brown for your GL. And then finally, Helios Blue would be your final colour choice. Blue or grey interior for your base model. Blue or black for your GL. Let's just have a quick look at those interior colours. So those are your base model interior pattern and colours you could get. And those are the colours for the high specs GL's velour seats. So there we go, that is the lovely Vauxhall Carlton, and I actually really like the Carlton. It was just a shame they didn't have more trim levels, but I still would have been tempted. What would you have gone for, a Granada or a Carlton at the time? Next week, Senator and Monza, they've kind of lumped them together in one. And again, as you always find at this time, the higher up the level of cars you got in Vauxhall, the more there was almost like forgotten vehicles. But we'll also have a look at some of the accessories, lots of accessory images, both for factory fitted accessories and dealer fitted accessories. So we'll certainly have a look at those as well next week. But thank you so much for watching today. We'll end as we always do by saying, please do consider subscribing. It's always completely free, will always be completely free. Keeps you in touch with the channel, helps you find the episodes you want to see. If you click the little bell as well, that'll alert you when new episodes, but there's at least 3 episodes each week that we're throwing out for Quarterlight. You can always also become a member as well for a very low monthly fee. I can't remember the figure, but it is not very much at all. You can either do it for a month or continually. That is really to help support the channel, and as I always say, I'm so grateful to the people who have become a member, because it really does keep the channel going, because honestly you don't get much from YouTube for doing this. But thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Please do take care. We'll see you very soon. All the best and goodbye.